And we're back. It's
we
been
on?
2 weeks since we last had a catch-up. What have we been doing?
What have I been doing? Well, you tell me what you've been doing first.
What have I been? I've been working my way through a huge amount of Marvel Legends figures the last 2 weeks.
Right.
And I've just received an email to tell me that I'm now live. That's
Oh, that's good.
nice, isn't it?
Anyone in the chat?
That's a good... There we go. I think it probably was private chat. Is that different? There we go. Yeah, it's probably a bit early for chats just yet. So yeah, I've been working my way through a load of... Hello there, Spectral Horace. You've got a split personality problem, you have.
Well, I tried to get... Oh, actually, no, I don't need to be on that one. Go on, you just carry on while I sort my end out here.
Yeah.
I'm listening.
Your end. Thank you very much. Yeah, you'll have seen last night's, or if you haven't seen last night's What Did I Buy video, the Marvel Legends special, anyone that hasn't seen it really should have gone and watched it. It's mind-blowing the amount of figures that I'm still wading my way through.
Oh, yeah, the Marvel Legends one that you did last night.
Yeah. Well, since doing that video, since filming that, I've now worked my way through another 150 or so.
Right.
And I'm still not quite at the end of the Marvel ones.
Yeah.
And then I've got to start on the DC ones.
The thing that I thought about when you were doing that Marvel stuff is how many crap characters there are. Yeah, it's sort of like, they just see it struck me as though, I mean, I'm not sort of like saying anything bad about the toys themselves. It's just like, it's more the characters. It's as though they've just got, I don't know, it's either a bucket with loads of names in that people just write down. They just pick one out and say, right, who's a new character this week? All right, yeah, okay, there we go. We'll go for that one. And, some of the colour schemes, it's like, they've just given a toddler a box of crayons and said, right, okay, do us. Volts. It's VAULTS.
Volts.
He's saying it as it sounds. Volts.
Yes.
As electrical volt. So yeah, that's the thing that I thought about the
there's some dross amongst it, but you get people that want the character as they appeared in their favourite storyline, where they might have had a different costume, which is why you get so many different costumes. There was a Vision one today, which I'd never seen before, and apparently it's the all new, all different. Hey Benjamin, the all new, all different Vision. Who knew? It's from an Avengers 3-pack that was exclusive to Toys R Us back in the day.
Sorry, what was that? I was just responding to Gap.
Oh, here we go. I have
What?
a smelling disease. Yes, you do. I was just saying there. I found a Vision today, and I realised it was Vision straight away, but I didn't recognise the costume. And
right.
It's from like a specific comic series, all new, all different Avengers.
Right. The one thing I did think, though, about the Marvel stuff that you did have on there was, it goes to show that there's some costumes that these characters have in the comics that just would not translate well into a movie.
It's live action.
Yeah. It would work in probably in an animated film or a CGI film or something like that. But in an actual live action film, the costume, I mean, just taking that Vision, for example, the one that you showed last night, I think, like a green and yellow outfit. And
it is a green and yellow outfit, yeah. But
I think in a film, in like, I don't know, Avengers Endgame or whatever film, the last film that you see him in, it'd look a bit naff wearing that.
Yeah. Oh, definitely the original outfit.
But then again,
classic one.
are we only thinking that it'd look naff because they did do the redesign of the costume?
Possibly.
If they'd have put them in those kind of costumes from the very start, from the very off, I suppose you wouldn't know any different, would you?
You wouldn't. I'm just going to see whether or not I can.
And I suppose, really, if you think about it, you could say that it was. I suppose maybe it was Tim Burton's Batman from '89 that did that, because I don't recall seeing Batman in that kind of costume in any of the comics up to that point. It was usually either the black and grey or the blue and grey. But I don't recall ever seeing in like an all black outfit. Good evening, Excelsior.
So there we are. That's
the one, yeah.
Outfit that I'm talking about there.
Yeah,
I didn't recognise what particular comic that was from. This one. Obviously, I recognise this one. I don't even recognise that one, if I'm honest with you.
Right.
This one, it took me quite a while to find it.
Excuse me. Yeah, is it the one that's in the middle that you had up on the video last night?
No, the one I had was the Toy Biz one.
Right. What's that, Excelsior says? Oh, yeah. The Batsuit became more armoured over time, yeah.
Yeah, it was more that one that I think that you saw.
Right, yeah.
Anyway, let's get...
Which probably wouldn't work, like I say, wouldn't work very well in a live-action film, I don't think. It looked too... No.
Although they did it in WandaVision, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
As a Halloween costume.
Yes. Yeah. They gave them the classic-looking outfits, didn't they? But yeah, I mean, there were some nice-looking figures.
Yeah, hello, Excelsior. Come on, tell me, what does 07 mean?
Is it 07?
Is it no? I don't know.
There's something you're looking on its side, or
Excelsior always does this, and I don't know what it means.
07. It's a salute. Oh yes.
Oh, is that what it is? So, okay. Well, in that case, I salute you back, sir. It's common in elite circles.
All right. I gesticulate my greeblies at you, sir.
I've been watching some of Excelsior's videos recently. I'm probably one of the few amongst us that's a big fan of Babylon 5, just like him. So, in fact, he's a much bigger fan than I am. But I do like me some Babylon 5, so I've been keeping up to date with his latest videos. He's talking about the new animated movie that's been made.
All right.
Yes, I know.
I've not watched that one yet.
It's a good one. It's Babylon 5. It is. It's a good one.
It doesn't have the Rimmer salute. No, it's that outstretched and then like that.
Okay.
Arnold Rimmer, the goit. No, I vaguely recall watching the first series of Babylon 5, but I think we talked about this the other week, didn't we?
Yeah, I think we mentioned it last time. It's something you do need to push on past that first season.
Yeah.
Moving forward, it's not a different series.
Yeah.
But it feels it's strange because it almost feels like a reboot. Season 2 feels like a reboot, but you realise it's actually an integral part of the story is the changing of the.
It could be a while because I started watching Lost again.
Oh. Ooh.
I've not watched it since it first came out.
Yeah. See, I keep forgetting just how much of a J.J. Abrams fan you are.
Yeah. And what was that? Yeah, I've not watched it since it first came out, and I've got the Blu-ray box set, but it's packed away. And I just had this thought. I think I might fancy watching that, but I couldn't be bothered unpacking it all. So anyway, I had a look around. It's on Disney Plus, so I've just been watching it on there. I think I'm about 7 or 8 episodes in, I think.
Yeah.
What's that? Bungee jumps up come season 2 onwards. 2 plus 3D graphics were leaping upwards as the show goes on. Oh, that's for Babylon, yeah.
It is, yeah, Babylon 5.
Yeah. So I think I might. I've got that. I'm just putting my feet up. I'm just getting comfy. There we go.
Sorry, we can still hear you.
Yeah, no, it's fine. So I'm going to work my way through that. I might have a break because I've still Miami Vice to finish off as well.
Right.
I keep watching that. I keep doing a binge of 3 or 4 episodes on that. I want to watch Moonlighting again, but I promised Gene that I'd start watching that with him. So I need to hang fire on that.
Fair enough.
What's that, Benjamin? What's Benjamin say? Yeah, I do remember enjoying it. I mean, I do remember though. I went through phases with it. There were a phase where I went through it where I just called it the Jack and Kate show because it seemed to just be more focus on them than anything else. Then I think, what season would it be? Season 5 was it?
There were only 5 seasons, weren't there?
No, there were. Were there 6 or were there 7? Or were there 6? I can't remember now. Come on, Benjamin, tell us. Were there 5 or 6 seasons, or more? But I do remember a point coming
6.
where it's what?
6 seasons.
6. I remember a point in it thinking that I got the impression that the writers didn't have a clue where they wanted to take it. It kind of like felt, what we're doing here kind of thing. It just seemed to go into a bit of a holding pattern for a while. And then it kicked up again. I know there was one season. Was it season 4, was it? There were only like 14 episodes in it. And it coincided with the writer's strike. So it was a bit of a short season. But yeah, I do recall, in general, I did quite enjoy it. I'll see if I enjoy it this second time round.
Okay, fair enough. Well, good luck with it. I managed to. Well, I loved the first series. I thought I think it was one of those that coming out of the gate. Usually, your first series or 2 of any new series can be a little bit ropey.
Right.
I thought season 1 of Lost was one of those things where, from the very start all the way to the end, it was fantastic.
Yeah.
I was constantly waiting for them. Well, no, I weren't, because I managed to get a dodgy DVD copy of it, or VCD. It might have been VCD.
Right.
Copy of it, and I managed to binge it, and I thought it was fantastic. But then the second series, I just felt like I was treading water all the way through it.
Right.
And I think I jacked it in around about episode 18 of the second series.
Right. Yeah.
I didn't care about what was happening from the other half of the plane at the other side of the island. I wanted to know what was going on with Locke and Hurley and everyone else.
Yeah.
I can't hear any background hum. Can you hear a background hum?
That's why I was just tilting down then to see if I could hear something.
Benjamin, Gap, anyone else? Can you hear a background hum?
No, I can't. No, sorry.
Oh, Benjamin can. Okay.
Is the hum still there?
Is it loud? Hang on a minute. Does that get rid of it?
A power brick near your microphone? No.
I don't.
Have you put music on in the background?
I've just put some on now.
Right.
Thinking it might drown it out.
I mean, there's no coming off. Let me just.
Still there?
No.
Oh,
There's no. Oh well, we'll just see how we get on. It might.
Is it incredibly
still there.
distracting?
What kind of a hum is it, Benjamin?
Is it my belly rumbling?
Are you listening to us on some earphones, Excelsior? It's like a CD-ROM drive that's whirring, that sort of thing. Oh, I know what it is. It's my microphone picking up my PC tower.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Okay, fair enough. But Benjamin says it's not distracting.
Yeah. It's because I've got a...
Excelsior is listening to it via his headphones.
Yeah. I've got a nice... Because I upgraded my PC. I put like a really nice big juicy processor in it. So I ended up having to put a nice big juicy fan on it as well. So it does tend to be a little bit louder than what it used to be, does my PC, because of this fan.
I was beginning to wonder if it might be my Mac, because I've noticed for a good month now it tends to make a bit of a sound sometimes.
Right.
But as it happens, I'm sat right here and I can't hear it. But then I thought
Right.
the microphone's between me and it, so maybe that's what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah.
If my mic picks up broadly, so maybe I should just have it here like that. But like Midnight Caller, what was that program used to be on BBC One or something on a Saturday night, Midnight Caller. It's got that bloke in it who was on that meme, you know, in the office, you know, where he stood in the office with his hands on his hips.
All right.
What's that? One of you mute.
That's a good idea.
Right, Gareth is now muted. So it's just me. You'll have to mute me now. Oh, that fixed it. Right, Gareth, you need to mute yourself.
Seriously, is that what it is? It's me.
I don't know. Who knows? It's not that anyway, look, we'll be here all night, won't we? So
We will.
Yeah,
Well, I hope not.
first series, right? Yes, I think. I think there is a point with that.
How's that? Is that any better? It's back, so it's right. It's something here, then, isn't it?
You've gone muffled now.
I've gone muffled now. Well, I've tried moving the microphone, thinking it might be the Mac.
It changed.
It changed then. It changed. I wonder if it is the Mac then.
Right. But anyway, so
Interesting. That's
I don't think there's been many series that have been good out the gate. Like I say, the first season of Lost, a good season. First season of Stranger Things, brilliant season, really good. I really enjoyed that. But then when you start talking about things like my ones that I always go to is things like Buffy, Next Generation, Deep Space Nine. For me personally, I don't feel they got going while the start of the third series. You know, that's especially Next Generation. I mean, I can go back and I can dip
agree
in and
on
out Next Gen. But the episodes from the first two series, I struggle the most with dipping in and watching episodes from those two seasons. Same with DS9.
Although I probably would argue with you with Buffy. I'm just going to check something now. Because I know Buffy's the second series of Buffy is where they introduced
Spike and Drusilla. Yes.
And I will.
Yeah, you've always had a thing for them too.
As soon as them two came into it, specifically Spike. It's just like,
yeah,
I'm on board with this. I'm well on board with this. But then I wanted to check another episode, but no, that turned up much later. That's Hush.
Plus, also, you've got in the third season of Buffy, you've got my favourite episode, which is Doppelgangland.
doppelganger. I think we mentioned this in the last episode as well.
Yes,
actually.
we did. Well, I'm only mentioning it again because I happened to watch it again on Disney Plus. They've got it on there.
Okay. I'm surprised they haven't censored that.
Well, I mean,
does it have a warning at the beginning of the episode?
no, it don't. It don't. Well, I can't say for any other episodes, but for that one, it didn't.
Right, okay.
I mean,
No
to be fair,
warning saying that you may get turned on by freaky ladies in leather in this episode.
Who's that? Sorry, me. Is that a comment?
Yeah. No, I'm just saying that it's, there's no warning at the beginning saying that you may get turned on by freaky ladies in leather.
Yeah, that'd be normal for Disney, wouldn't it? Excuse me. But I'm also looking forward to. I think I'll give Angel another crack as well because that's on there as well. Is Angel?
I like Angel.
I do recall enjoying the episodes where they went to what do you call it? Caritas, when they went to Lorne's dimension. So yeah, I'm looking forward to going back and watching some of those things.
I have a lot more fond memories of both Buffy and Angel than I have memories of not enjoying it.
Yeah. Well, when I started seeing Kelly, when because at that point they had it was back when it was NTL. And you used to be able to watch Buffy on NTL, and I'd go to her house and we'd sit and watch Buffy.
Okay.
When we first started quoting.
Wow. NTL, that's going back.
My email address
Your
is still
email address
NTL
is
World.
still NTL World.
I can't be bothered changing it. I did get an email from Virgin. It's probably maybe a year or so ago, asking if I wanted to change it. And I just I can't be bothered. It's
worked this long.
Yeah, and I just couldn't be bothered emailing people to say, look, my email address has changed. You know, and I'd have to go through changing all my passwords for stuff as well. It's like it's too much hassle. But anyway, going back to what we should be talking about. Toys.
Isn't it should?
And collectibles. No, well, So
Well, before we do, I will just put it out there. Any viewers that are wanting to ask any questions, do it. Just pop it in the comments, and we can try and address them. Oh, and we've got one.
When the stunt doubles were used, it sort of yanks me out of it.
See, I'm an old school Doctor Who man, and I let things like that slide.
Yeah. Well, all I'll say is if the stunt doubles in Buffy is the only thing that's yanking him off. Sorry, out.
Yeah. No, I
smutty.
Going back to the early days of Doctor Who, you can see quite clearly when John Pertwee's having a fight. It's his body double wearing a wig.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be so bad if the wig was the same colour as John Pertwee's hair either.
I think a lot of the early stuff were like that. Like some of the American TV shows of like the 60s and 70s and early 80s. I mean, even in Knight Rider, you could tell as well. It wasn't David Hasselhoff. It was just some guy in a dodgy permed wig, being thrown over a bonnet, What's that? What's the gap after that saying?
What action figure is your holy grail that you do not have in your collection yet?
Go on, I'll let you answer that one first.
I don't have one. That's pretty sad, isn't it? I don't have one.
You don't have a grail?
I don't have a grail action figure, no, not that I can think of anyway. That Link there was my grail for quite a long time. Not that long, obviously, because it's not like it's a 50-year-old figure or anything like that. But it was one of those that, when sold out, it quickly escalated in price.
Hmm.
And there was no way that I was paying. I think it was going for like 500 quid at one point. And there's no way I'm paying that for a figure that came out last year.
Right.
That's mental. It's disgusting. I think it was like 100. I want to say 100, somewhere between 150 and 200 quid RRP. So it wasn't like it had doubled in value. It more than tripled.
Yeah.
If it was the low end. So yeah, I weren't paying it. But then one of these, what I would call dodgy adverts, popped up on Facebook, and they were advertising that they had it for I think it worked out about 280 quid.
Right.
Including shipping and whatever else. And it was a company over in, I think it was Germany.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Germany, and I've never heard of them before. But it was a case of they take payment by PayPal, so I mulled it over for like 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And then I thought, you know what, if they take money by PayPal, they take payment by PayPal, so if it never turns up, I can just put a claim in. So, or if it turns out to be a fake, I could just put a claim in. Anyway, it turned up and it was perfectly fine. Genuine and everything. So, yeah, that was it.
Right. What would mine be? There's a few, really. There's a few. I wouldn't call them grails because. Well, actually, no. I suppose one of them you could because they don't do them at the moment. So it would be. I'd like to have some really good, kind of like 6-inch scale, akin to something like a Marvel Legends or a Black Series, but 6-inch scale of Battle of the Planets, Gotchman. You know, some Mark, Jason, Tiny, Key, Princess. Yeah, I'd like a nice 6-inch scale figures of those. I'd also say in there maybe a 12-inch masterpiece style Big Die X from Starfleet, from X-Bomber, and also a good scale model of an X-Bomber itself. But I suppose really, if I had money and space, I'd really like to be able to buy back, or not the actual ones, but get back the toys I had as a kid. Yeah, but the early stuff, you know, so things like I've forgotten the name of them now. They were probably about so big, and there were plastic cars that you used to put the ripcord in and pull the ripcord out, and they'd drive across, and then they'd smash into each other, and panels that fly off the car.
Yeah.
There was them. I had. It was similar to an Evel Knievel thing, but it wasn't. It was like a ramp, and it had a pneumatic pump on it. And you put the bike on, and you pumped this pneumatic pump, and then you flick this trigger thing, and the bike used to fly off, you know, with the pressure of the air pressure that built up. There's all things like I have a photo. It's probably around at my mum's of me on a Christmas morning, and you can see these toys in this photograph. I can't be so old. I think it was probably only about maybe 4 years old. Wasn't so old. And there was also things like I don't know if it was Matchbox or Corgi that did them, but they did a series of die-cast Evel Knievel cars and bikes. And I had this Evel Knievel car. It was something like Crazy Dragster or something like that it was called. You know, so I'd like all those kind, because I was really, before Star Wars and Transformers and things like that turned up, I really was heavily into, it was Corgi and Matchbox toys. And, you know, so that would be like my grail kind of thing. Mr. Gap. Have we any more?
Before we do move on, there's something that I've always wanted to collect, but I refuse to because of the prices. So
Yeah.
I think it probably fits into this, and that's the droids and the Ewoks figures from the animated cartoon series.
Ah, yeah.
And knowing that I prefer things on card as well,
right?
We're talking very, very silly money.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I've never even allowed to get myself any of the more affordable ones because I know it's going to lead to what would be termed as a grail. Guzzy has joined in and he said he's just remembered that he should have messaged you, so with any luck you might get a message from him now.
Ah, yes.
And he's also mentioned his grail.
Unreleased Transformers Space Warp. Which one's that? Is that the Oh, now then. I have a book and there's some drawings of some unreleased stuff in there. I'm wondering if that's one of them. It may be. It may be. I'd have to get the book and have a look.
Is it from a particular line, Guzzy?
Oh, sorry. Space Warp was a redeco of Armada Jetfire. Right. Okie doke. Right. I'm not familiar with that then.
Right. Okay. So in that case.
Also, it's nice. I like Battle of the Planets. They would make great figures. Yep, they would.
So it means this guy.
Oh, that.
Yes. That's garish. I love it. I think the only thing that would make that better is if those colours were neon.
I'm glad you like it.
You hate it, don't you?
No, I don't hate it. It's not my thing. It's not my thing.
It's not mine. It's not something I would have. But if those colours were neon, I would be straight on that. It'd just draw my eye straight away.
But as I always say with stuff like that, I'm glad it exists. I'm glad it's out there, and I'm glad someone's appreciating it. Yeah. But that's not for me, is that?
It says that or this one.
Oh, Super God Master Force Minelba. That's the. Oh no, that's Minerva. Is it Minerva or Minelba? Is the red and white police car? Is it? She was a headmaster, wasn't she? Is or am I mixing up with Minerva or Minelba?
Is this one that they've ever actually done?
What's that? Because it says Tiger Force Duke Ram Cycle. Is that the pneumatic thing? Ah, there we go. Yeah, it's probably, yeah. Minelba and Minerva is the same transact. Yeah, right there you go.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
I was going to bring it up, but we'll move on because we'll be here forever. Excelsior says, God, they can be expensive, the Gatchman ships.
Yeah.
Gat's right there with you with the Battle of the Planets.
Yeah. I do remember as a kid I did have I think it was a Poppy. They die cast God Phoenix. But it would actually look like a bird. It would actually look like a phoenix, which I believe in cartoon continuity, I think it was a ship that they got after the original Phoenix was destroyed. I'm not 100% sure on that. That's but I do remember having that, and it had the tiniest little plastic vehicles that went in the wings and in the nose and in the tail section that got lost real easy. Oh, wait, that's how it says. Yes, they did. Mark II Phoenix, yeah.
Okay. Now, Excelsior's brought up something here regarding the 3D printed stuff.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that?
What, 3D printing? I don't have any thoughts about it either way, to be fair. It's a good way for people to get something that they want if they can't get it. I don't have a printer myself. I've not experienced anything. You know, I've never had any 3D printed products or anything like that, so I couldn't honestly say, you know, what I feel the quality's like or if it's worth it or not, kind of thing. So I don't know. I can't really answer. And also, there's the thing about it's you're having to paint it as well. So whatever you get, you will have to paint it up before it looks or resembles anything like what you want it to. So I'm kind of I don't really have opinion either way on it at the moment because it's something I haven't experienced yet.
No, that's fair enough. Is that? It's one of those things where I'm more than happy for anyone to have it. It'll look great on the shelf, but I'd always be of the mind it's like, but I want the real thing.
Yeah, I can understand that. I
want a proper one. I know it looks good there.
Yeah,
but I want it to feel good in my hands as well.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose I would like, basically because it may be cheaper, but I mean, if anyone knows anyone that can do some 3D printed weapons for Action Force figures, because I'd say probably about 80% of my Action Force figures that I have don't have weapons, and it'd be nice to tool them up, that'd be, because I suppose in that respect, they just need to be black, so I mean, I suppose that'd be quite easy and straightforward to print off.
Guzzy's saying he's had some pickups this week. Legacy Transmetal 2 Megatron. That's the big dragon one, isn't it? And that's the big red dragon one, is that? Bombburst, I'm not familiar with that character. Legacy War Dawn Pack?
It's Orion packs. No, it's not Orion packs, it's Dion and Ariel.
Okay. Power of the Primes, Predaking, Unite Warriors, Grand Galvatron, and G.I. Joe Classified Dr. Mindbender.
Right.
And Tiger Force Duke Ramcycle.
Yeah.
He's been spending well by the sounds of it.
Yes. Oh, I must admit, I did buy something today.
Oh, did you now?
Yes, I did, yeah.
And congratulations, Guzzy. He's got a new job.
Oh, well done, sir.
Well done.
I give you a single Arnold Rimmer. Right.
Joe with plastic cape. That was on the street.
Joe with plastic. Is that Jawa?
Right, okay, yes, there we go. He means Jawa.
He has a Jawa with a plastic cape.
Congratulations, Gaff. That's two congratulations in space of a minute.
I've got a Jawa with a plastic cape.
Yes, you have.
I got it from. I bought off this bloke. What's his name? Trotter. Derek Trotter. That's it. Oh, else that's going off in the chat? Any more questions?
I'm just looking now. Excelsior's bragging that he also had the stackable Gatchaman superplane, about 5 different units that merged into each other.
Yeah, I remember that one. I think the last one kind of looks very similar to one of the Transformer Tetrajets. And it all slots into each other. It makes one long spaceship, and then they all split up. It's very similar to, but there's only 3 components to this one. They did one for Ulysses 31, and the craft that splits into 3. You've got a pointy one at the front, then you've got a disc circular one, and then a triangular shaped one at the back. That's I remember seeing that on the shelves when I was a kid. That one.
Just excuse me a minute. I'm sending someone a question.
You're sending somebody a question? Shouldn't they be asking us questions? Gap's asking you, do you sell non-sports trading cards in your shop?
Non-sports trading cards? Are we talking about Pokemon? I sell Pokemon. I sell Yu-Gi-Oh! I have a little bit of Magic the Gathering, Dragon Ball, and what's the other one? Digimon. Excelsior, I have just sent you a Facebook message. If you'd like to reply to that, please.
Who said that?
No, I'm just saying to Excelsior that I've just sent him a Facebook message.
Ah, right. They said, wouldn't mind some Ulysses toys. I only saw Jason the Wheel Warriors toys a few months ago. Yeah, Ulysses toys, and yeah, they'd all be nice. I tell you what, I keep looking at, and again, I remember seeing them as a kid. The Terrahawks toys. There's something about them that look quite nice.
Right. Okay.
What's the name of it now? Bloody hell! In fact, I think I talked about this with Excelsior's when we did our Collector's Archive. Kate Kestrel's ship. Oh, bloody hell. I forget it. It splits into two. It's like this little jet thing and the wings on top come off. And it splits into two. That's it, Battlehawk and Hawkwing.
No, it doesn't mean Pokemon and whatnot. It means Space 99. Right, so you mean like your sci-fi trading cards and everything. It's not something I tend to sell, but I do have some Star Trek base sets lying around somewhere. I need to sort out.
He could try. I don't know. He might have some. I don't know. I do know that he does get some odd packs on there of old stuff. But there's a guy called Monkey's Emporium.
Okay. Monkey's Emporium.
Yeah, he was advertising some old trading cards not long ago. No one else can do the things you do. I bet they can't with that long flowing beard.
It's one that I've never seen is Ulysses 31.
You've never seen Ulysses 31?
Never seen it.
When you're round on Monday, I'll bung an episode on for you.
It's gone. You're bugging or what?
I'll put an episode on for you when you come round on Monday.
Oh, something to look forward to.
It is. It's a cracking cartoon. Absolutely cracking.
Okay.
Yeah, you're missing out on a banging theme tune. You are. Just scanning through the chat, see if there's out. It's going to be quiet on the questions, isn't it?
It has, yes.
Mysterious Cities of Gold.
He says that I'm missing out.
Yeah, what I'm saying.
Again, Mysterious Cities of Gold. I've seen the intro, but I've never watched an episode.
Gap After Dark wants you to stand up and show us your T-shirt and where you can get one.
It was custom made. There we go. Stu's nipples.
There you go. You're getting it in 3D.
Yeah, unfortunately, the guy that I got this off, I don't speak to anymore. Unfortunately, it is a bit of a shame, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh,
they can soon knock one of them up.
Hello. We have a guest appearance tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
Are we being joined by another?
Yes, we are being joined by the one and only Excelsior. Hello there.
Hello there. Testing. Any annoying hums present at all? Or is that all right?
Only the drone.
How we doing, fella?
Good, thank you. How's everyone doing? I should be
Not
packing.
too shabby. Not too shabby. I'm warm because I'm up in loft and it's just like.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I can't have the window open because if I open the window, it'll just go white out in here. You know, so you'll not see anything. And it'll spoil me mood lighting, you know, just to get me.
It's quite dark now. You should be all right.
Is it? Has it dropped dark? Time and
yeah.
So, but yeah, but other than that, I'm fine. How are you?
Yeah, all right. Just busy packing and stuff because I've got going on my holidays, my jolly days, and so just trying to pull stuff together for that. Really, I should put my URL on, shouldn't I?
Are you going anywhere nice?
Yeah,
I was going to ask you if you wanted to do that.
Kefalonia. Little Greek
That's
island.
your URL? Kefalonia?
No.
www.kefalonia.com.
Yeah, something like that. I can't spring for a .com. Good Lord.
It's what?
sfxb.co.uk is the best app you'll get out of me as a domain. I can't spring for a com. They're
So
pricey.
What do you want me to put down then as your URL?
Yeah, you can put. I mean, people. I don't know. You can't link through for. Well, people could link through for my comments in the chat, couldn't they, for YouTube? But I guess if you just put my YouTube channel on as a domain, that'll work.
Okay. So
I've gone for the longest YouTube channel name ever, but apart from that,
well, thanks for that.
copy and paste.
That's what I'm trying to do right now as we speak.
I should have put it in when I was. It's weird watching it on the YouTube channel. It's lagged, isn't it? I know.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, there is a bit of a lag. I've got it on YouTube
weird.
on my next monitor here, and I can notice
I might need to hit my secondary one. Yeah, hang on. I don't normally have it on, but this is a prime example of why it is a useful thing to have.
It's for work. I have two for work.
Yeah,
so.
totally for work. Not yeah. Leave the streaming out there. Put that into there. And I can just see the chat more or less. That's better. No.
Well, Gaps Television Show is going to have some late supper.
Ah,
That's very
marvellous.
kind of you. It's only the second one, is this? But thanks anyway.
Late supper. What's you got? You got a couple of slices of toast and a pot of tea.
And Guzzy says he heat's a big part of why he had a UV glass put in his bedroom.
Ah.
That's so very good.
I have
Reduces the temperature.
I have a question on that actually,
Yeah.
because I'm quite fortunate in the sense that some of my rooms in my house do not get direct sunlight.
Yeah.
So I don't need to worry about yellowing in there. But how fast do things yellow if all you've got is like normal glazing and they just get the odd bit of sun?
Oh, that's a very good question. My honest answer would be I don't know, because I've got a boxed G1 Jetfire that was absolutely mint when I got it,
But
and it's never ever been in direct sunlight, and now it's yellower than a Capstan full strength smoker's fingers.
what? And it hasn't been in sunlight?
No, never,
Oh,
never. Well, not since I've had it. It's never been in direct sunlight since I've had it, and I've had it for.
Interesting.
It's probably going to be getting up to towards 20 years that I've had it.
So that just is because that's the
It's got a
oxidization
lovely
or
white
something.
stripe across the middle of it, though.
Yeah, it does have a lovely white stripe, because I don't know if you remember on the Jetfires when they're in the box, they had that strip across the centre, and that was to stop the two prominent areas, that stick up on its back from piercing the plastic window. So whenever I take it out of the box and I remove that piece of paper or card, you can see a nice white stripe across his back.
Well, it does make me smile whenever I see a properly minty Jetfire, because there is nothing quite like that white that they have when they clean. It is absolutely, right.
Yeah.
Just burns your retinas. It's impressive. It really
Sorry,
is.
I'm just seeing what Gap's set to. Sorry, Guzzy. Sorry, UV glass isn't much more expensive than normal glass. The discoloration depends on the plastic. Legacy Cyclone has started to discolor even before removed from the box. Heat and humidity also a big issue, not just direct sunlight. Yeah,
So it's whatever starts the reaction going, isn't it?
Yeah, UV can penetrate 6 foot into a room. It's awful. Yeah, well, like I say, I mean, my collection's up in the loft, and like I say, it's not. There's no. where I have my box stuff, there's no direct sunlight there. But like I say, I suppose light finds a way.
when he says that UV can penetrate 6 foot into a room, I'm literally looking there thinking, right, how far away from the window cabinets?
Yeah, but didn't you
At
have
least
that?
6 foot.
Didn't you have that issue with your Hot Toys layer, the boots?
Yes, yeah, and that was more than 6 foot away from the window.
Yeah, they went yellow, didn't they?
Yes, that's not a sore subject at all, Edward. Yes.
But you see, that's the thing. I mean, I suppose that ties in with something that we'd discussed off camera last week. Sorry, the week before last, where at the end of the day, these toys, these collectibles that we have, are made from plastic, and eventually they are going to deteriorate, regardless of how well we try and keep and protect them.
Not if you listen to the Save the Planeteers. Plastic lasts forever.
Yeah. I'm sure it does. But it will go brittle, it'll fade, and then some pieces I've got, not my main boxed Prime, but my other boxed Optimus Prime, the hose pipe, because it's the original hose pipe. I noticed the last time I had it out of its box, it started feeling a bit oily.
Sticky.
Yeah, a bit sticky and a bit oily.
That happens with a lot of vintage Star Wars figures as well.
Right.
Happens with a lot of figures from the 90s, let alone the 80s.
Yeah.
It'll depend. I mean, even from different factories and stuff, because I bet they all have slightly different production methods from the same molds and stuff. I mean, there must be a lot of variation in it all.
Oh, there will be. Yeah, definitely. Maybe that's why country of origin is such an important factor to Star Wars collectors.
Maybe.
But I don't get that. What does it matter where a figure's made? Because I mean, they will be made to the same specification and tolerances.
Well, you say that, but I mean,
get variations.
You get the variations, don't you? Yeah.
Well, maybe in colour.
Yeah.
But there shouldn't be any moulding variations, really, because it should be the identical moulds. I'm assuming, like a vintage Star Wars figure. Kenner would have made the moulds and then shipped them out to wherever for them to produce them. I mean, I know, like on the Transformers side, you had companies like IGA in Mexico. The toys themselves were pretty much identical. It was the colours. There was some really nice colour variations. I have a Trailbreaker, which the reds, well, they're more of an orangey red rather than a red on it. There's some nice colour variances, and then you also have the things like different heads. There's a few Trailbreakers with hoist heads rather than Trailbreaker heads.
Bless.
So I get that, but yeah, I find that a fascinating thing about how long they will last. I mean, some of the vintage Star Wars figures, are they still holding up? I mean, you'll probably be able to answer that better than anyone, Gareth. I mean, what stuff you'll get traded in and you'll see coming across your counter. Are some of them? Do they all seem to be pretty decent, or are you noticing some deterioration in some?
Apart from the fact that some of them go a little bit sticky,
right?
I couldn't really say. I mean, obviously, it's like any toy, you get the play with it. But the last 2 or 3 lots I've had in, they've been stuck in a loft for 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
More. So, and they were hard to play with, so they're like new. Some of them. Once they've been washed to get some of that silt off them from the loft.
Yeah.
What is that stuff? It's like I got this. Funny story though. I got this that Zoidzilla I mentioned, I think, on the last stream, and that came across, and my dog was sniffing away at this box after it arrived, and I thought, because I thought he's never ever reacted to anything I've ever bought off eBay before. And by God, nothing wrong with his nose, because the hairs. It wasn't pleasant. It was not pleasant. And it was just like this. But how does this grime get into these nooks and crannies so much? It's just incredible. And the problem is, because it's got stickers on it, it's like, how the hell am I supposed to even sort of try and wash it? And that's like, physically dismantling an entire Zoidzilla. And it's like, that's not asking for trouble at all, because that's, that's not going to be breaky plastic at all. It'll be fine, So it's just like, I'm just going to, for long distance display, it wouldn't matter so much. It's fine, but I'm subconsciously conscious. In fact, I did a shorts video where I was using an electric toothbrush with an old head on it, trying to go to try and sort of car wash it. It didn't work very well.
What I did with my Zoidzilla when I got mine through is I have some acetate sheets, not acetate. I suppose it's that the same material that they use for toy box windows. That thin plastic. I've quite a big stack of those. And the Zoidzilla I got, I took the stickers off and I put them on this sheet. And then I put them to one side, and then I just dismantled my Zoidzilla. It was the one I had was quite robust. I was quite surprised. I thought it might be more brittle than that, but no, it was right.
Quite big pieces, actually. I imagine.
Yeah. And aside from
it's an impressive toy.
It is, yes, lovely toy. Apart from the main motor unit and the battery pack on the back for the lights, everything just went in the sink with some warm soapy water and a toothbrush and a nail brush, and it came out lovely. It cleaned it up really, really well. But then when I came to put it back together again, I didn't put the original stickers back on. I just bought some other Zoid stickers, and I labelled it back up. I mean, I could do with at some point getting some Zoidzilla stickers for it, but the ones I used, I tried to get as close as I could, but maybe just a little bit individual.
I have seen replacement sticker sheets for things as obscure as the Starbird that I've done a ludicrous number of videos on, because when I was hunting down examples of that, trying to get the little tiny gun off the back of it that's never there. I noticed that the guy in Australia sells complete replacement sticker sheets for Starbirds. It's incredible what you can get hold of with a bit of hunting it down, So it's possible, certainly. You can find replacements.
I mean, I might have to try there's a guy in America. I got some Action Force water decals from him. So I might have to have a look through his stock and see if he does any Zoid stuff. And have a look at that. Because I did a custom Red Jackal, because I wasn't paying Red Jackal money, so I just picked up a Destro and custom painted it as a Red Jackal, and you can't tell. Well, you can, but you can't. An aficionado would be able to tell, but it from a distance is fine. Excuse me.
I've got a question. Circles back round to one of Gareth's observations before. So you quite like your Zelda game figure there, and I've just been playing the original Fallout, and I've got this little chap, little bobblehead Pit Boy. And are there any sort of game franchises you'd like to see more toys of, or fewer toys of, even possibly? I don't know.
No,
anything you think that hasn't?
Buy them.
Huh? Because then you'd have to buy them. Fair dues.
I'd like a Banjo-Kazooie figure. Are you familiar with Banjo-Kazooie?
He is a foxy type raccoony sort of. I can picture him.
He's a bear.
Is he actually a bear?
Yeah.
Because I used to work in a game store, and I remember seeing. I never had any of the games featuring him, but I remember seeing him in store, certainly.
No, he's a bear with a bright orange bird on his back in his backpack.
Oh, right, okay.
It's by Rareware. It was on the N64.
Yeah.
Go on, Eddie.
What?
Tell us about your Manic Miner figures that you would like to have.
Old school.
Yeah. Yeah, a Manic Miner figure. I'd go for a Manic Miner figure.
Or a Jet Set Willy.
But you see, Lego could do that sort of pixelated stuff so easily, couldn't it? If it wanted. I mean, mostly it does Minecraft.
Have you seen the Pac-Man arcade?
Pac-Man, yeah.
It's very nice, but it's far too expensive.
Like I say, that's got to be Mega Bucks. I haven't even looked at it, but it's got to be Mega Bucks.
229.
Yeah, 229 quid. Yeah. I'll wait until Zavi puts it on sale.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm waiting for them to get the Rivendell.
Right.
Yes, I quite fancy the Rivendell set.
Yeah.
Of course, there's a new Batcave.
Oh yeah, the Batman Returns Batcave.
That doesn't appeal to me.
I haven't looked at it closely. That looks huge though.
Yeah, but
You need a lot of display space for it. Definitely.
I'd probably leave it in the box like I do with all the rest of the sets.
But no, I'm not a huge gamer, so I can't really
You have
say
how
that
many
it's-
spectrums again?
Right, I don't class that like gaming as like modern gamers.
Yeah.
I do play. I play GTA Online, but figures of that wouldn't interest me, so I wouldn't have any interest there. I started playing Last of Us because I've never played that. I started playing that, but again, figures from that wouldn't really appeal to me. I don't think it's the kind of thing really that appeals to me, or it would be of an interest to me, because I don't think there's a game, like I say, that I would want. I think the only thing maybe would be, I mean, me and Gareth have discussed this ages ago, the Lego Atari that they did. It would be nice if they did some more cartridges and more little game dioramas. That would be nice.
Like they did with Mario and...
but actual... I'm just trying to think about what games I've got. Oh! But again, it wouldn't really be based on the game, but Tron.
Yes.
Tron.
I picked up a few of the diecast Tron. I don't think I've got any of them here actually. But the first time in a long time I bought a diecast something, because it was like a modern version of a Buck Rogers Starfighter or something, just like little ones,
Yeah.
And they were quite nice for Tron Legacy.
Yeah, Tron Evolution, isn't it? The old Xbox 360 game.
Oh, I see you talking about the games. Yes, sorry, yes, that's right. 'Cause there were a couple, weren't there? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I still do play that. I do like that game. And they still have the servers running the online multiplayer. I don't know if many people go on it, but yeah, they're still there. You can do.
I love the fact that people keep these machines going, just like some dusty corner of some server room somewhere. This sort of 486 clanking away with sort of, old hard disk drive still running, and it's still just kind of going on for like the 5 people across the world that still play these things. I love that.
Yeah. Little die. When you said little diecast, then Blake 7 Liberator. I'd love to have one of them.
I've got one. It's not the right colour, to my mind, but I do have one. I always used to fly it the wrong way round.
Oh, you did the ball bit first, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's where George Lucas got the inspiration from for the pod racers. Because they are dragged by the engines.
Yeah?
Yeah, they are, yeah.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah, I used to love that program. I used to love that ship as well, Liberator. That's a nice ship.
They had to change the design of the Millennium Falcon because it was going to look too much like a Space 1999 Eagle at one point.
Yes.
Story.
Yeah. And I only know that because I watched the on Disney Plus the documentary, the Lucasfilm documentary that's on there.
I can't remember I only read it the other day. It was relatively new. Because initially I thought they must be joking, and then it turned out the words. So
yeah, and then one of the other early designs for it ended up being in Phantom Menace, the ship that Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan arrive on. That was also an early design concept for Vulcan, as was the Blockade Runner as well. The Blockade Runner was also an early design concept of it. But then we got what we did.
Indeed.
The hamburger.
It's what?
Okay.
The hamburger with a cockpit on the side.
Yeah.
Which I think that's how George Lucas described it, wasn't it?
I don't. They don't actually mention that on the that documentary that's on Disney Plus. They mentioned something about it. The guy that designed it, was on about it. He said about had this idea of having the cockpit off to the side.
It's an interesting one because you don't often get. And I'm going to get very sort of spaceship geeky now, but you don't often get asymmetrical designs in spaceships when you stop and think about it. They tend to have sort of bilateral symmetry.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, but of course that's kind of a very human dynamic because we are sort of bilateral creatures. So an alien race might have a completely different. I always remember. I think it was when now what they called the Breen turned up in Star Trek, for example. The Breen ships were very sort of off kilter. I thought, that's an interesting choice.
Yeah,
because that was quite a big. I think because they'd gone CGI fully at that point, you didn't really, they could do whatever they wanted to do basically. But I did think that was quite an interesting choice because
the ship that the Rogue Borg use.
Yes,
that's another one.
That's a very good early example, actually. Yeah, it's a very good early example.
Kind of like it's a bit of a box thing then with a bit hanging down.
Where did they get that from? It's like, who even builds ships that are big in Star Trek other than the Borg? It's like, that was random.
But I also remember thinking with the Millennium Falcon about it being a freighter. When you look at it, it's like it doesn't look very practical as a freighter.
Depends on what it's freighting.
But the thing is, we never really saw it in its proper freighter configuration. So could it sort of lock into stuff in the front and then
that's
push
the
it?
thing.
Or,
That's the thing. I'm talking more about when you, as a kid, when you first see it, and it's like, well, it doesn't. As a kid, when you first see it, you don't really think of it being like the drive section hooking up to a trailer or pushing something, do you?
No.
That only came later on. And then, like, when they did that hideous redesign of it for Solo.
Yeah.
It's like,
and it had a gap filled in, didn't it, or something?
Yes.
And extended.
And extended.
Yeah. But I was remember thinking, But that was the thing I liked about. There was a documentary I was watching not long back about Battlestar Galactica, but the reimagined one, the Ron D. Moore one. And it's just like the little fine detail. It never really occurred to me before I watched the documentary, and then when I saw it, I thought, oh, of course. When you see the Galactica, you see all like random plates here and there, and then all this like ribbed section.
Yes,
and I thought that was just the design, but it isn't.
Yes,
they've actually removed the battle plating off it.
Yeah,
because it was being decommissioned.
Exactly, and I only found that out recently as well, because I believe in the prequel series, or somewhere anyway, there is a version of it where it is it's a lot smoother, but it's also got a freaking shed load more guns on it as well.
Yes,
because they also stripped some of the weapon placements off it as well, it seems.
Yeah.
So that was because I got the Eagle Moss version of it, and then I think I've got a sort of the sort of prequel series. Might be Blood and Chrome, maybe.
Yeah, Blood and Chrome. Yeah, that's when Adama is like he's on the Galactica as a Viper pilot.
Yeah. So I think that version of Galactica is the sort of the fully up and running Galactica version.
Yeah.
So yeah, interesting that, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, when I watched that documentary, I thought, of course, yeah. You just,
Yeah, it makes complete sense as soon as you hear it, because you've never seen a different one. You don't sort of...
Yeah.
You just assume that Pegasus looks sexier when it arrives because that's just it's newer. But actually, it's because it's newer and as it should be, you know.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I mean, it still held its own, did the Galactica. It still took a pounding and, you know, still able to, you know, keep its footing. I mean, it's a great ship design, this Galactica. I liked how on the Reimagined series as well, they did the thing about the retractable side pods for when it goes, you know, when it slows its STL up.
Yeah. It was funny because I was laughing on Twitter because people were sort of saying what were their sort of favourite ships, and this one guy went for X-wing and Voyager. So I said to him, so basically you like hinges then, because everything he picked had wings that went zzz or zzz, and then someone went Galactica. Well, I thought it's not really hinges, but I see your point because it also random gratuitous moving bits for no apparent reason apart from it makes it more compact when it jumps presumably. However, their jump system operates, you know. But yeah. Funny.
Because there's no physics reason for them to retract because there's no resistance against them, you know, when it's traveling. So, but it's a cool gimmick. It's a cool way to portray it. But I mean, I like the original series Galactica as well, though. I think that's a great looking ship.
No, they were skilled. The models were incredible at that. Because literally that was all you had to portray it with. I did see a really good CGI recreation actually of the original style of Galactica. That was getting quite a lot of attention because it was really, really well done. Fair dues to the guy who'd done it. You know, it's impressive. It's incredible what the fans will do given enough time and the sort of modern facilities that they've got now that are accessible to people. It's just bonkers. But yeah, it was impressive. Yeah.
I am a fan of the Battlestar Galactica series, both the original and the new one. I'm not. There's talk of another series being in the works, isn't there?
You do wonder how much life they've actually got left in some of these franchises, though. It's kind of how long can you keep repeating some of these things before? Because I don't know about your.
Battlestar Galactica's got it written into it, hasn't it?
Well,
it's all happened before, and it will all happen again.
Yes, indeed. But I'm just thinking, I do sometimes think about this with my offspring because, you know, I was probably guilty, as I'm sure you might have been, of sort of buying him stuff because I thought it looked quite cool and it reminded me of stuff that I had when I was little. So you get it on the off chance that they'd like it as well, and of course then you could play with it on the QT. But a lot of what he's done growing up has been on a screen rather than involving physical playing with things.
Yeah.
You know, so he's had his Lego phase and stuff, and that's kind of, you know, there's a lot of unopened Lego in his house because it's stuff I bought for him that he just hasn't touched. He says thanks very much, and then it just gets left, you know. So I do kind of wonder, in that vein, sort of, he probably hasn't watched as many series, in terms of episodic stuff. He just watches his YouTube videos, and it's not. I just wonder how it's going to change down the years now, because I think for people like us, we know that we've watched similar TV series over time because we had a very finite pool of series to watch when we were younger. So we've all got that commonality and that sort of shared cultural upbringing. If that happened to be your thing when you were growing up, whereas kids these days have got so many different branches they could go down. Is it all going to get sort of diluted? I don't know. It's an interesting one, isn't it?
It really is. I noticed last year I had quite a few kids coming in due to the Godzilla collection that I bought, and they were all going mad for these Godzilla, and they were quoting to me specific Godzilla monsters and specific Godzilla scenes from films, from the old Japanese films, not the American ones.
Okay, yeah.
And bearing in mind that those films, they're not on any streaming platforms, so they haven't seen them that way. They're not readily available to buy on either DVD or Blu-ray unless you shell out a fortune for a very expensive box set, which most parents aren't going to do for the kids. How do they know about this? So I started asking them, and it's because they've been watching YouTube videos.
Yeah. I was watching some the other night, actually.
I've never ever seen the films.
Like Godzilla versus Space Godzilla. It was like
They are obsessed with
Godzilla.
these monsters, and they're obsessed with scenes from these films because it's been shown to them via people that they follow on YouTube.
YouTube, interesting.
That blows my mind.
Hmm.
The fact that YouTube is responsible for keeping alive a franchise that could have died, and probably I'm assuming as well it's not going to be exclusive to Godzilla. That's going to be a pattern, I think, that follows through a lot of franchises.
But that is actually really, really interesting, because my son had me watching the modern Godzilla flicks when I wouldn't actually have sought them out, because I hadn't always been particularly impressed. But the recent Godzilla versus Kong ones and things like that, I did think they're actually pretty well done. They did remind me a lot of the original Japanese approach to it, with some of the science fiction-y vehicles and stuff they dropped into them as well. So I thought that was really quite interesting. But oddly enough, had it not been for him picking them out from Amazon, I wouldn't necessarily have gone to them, which is funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I wonder where
he
he
picked up on it.
Exactly, because I'm not a huge fan. Mind you, Pacific Rim. So I turned him on to Pacific Rim. So the kaiju bit might have linked YouTube and TikTok across to Godzilla for him off the back of that. So that might explain it. He might have seen it on record. And again, you see recommendations. What you watch on YouTube then informs what you're recommended on YouTube. So you get stuck in this sort of bubble of stuff that you normally watch, and you don't often get introduced to stuff that's more random. So it's kind of it's interesting that, because it is like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Mm-hmm.
So unless he actually gets introduced to something brand new by somebody, and it could be somebody whose channel he watches. If you're an influencer, somebody pops up and says, "Have you watched this?" And then all of a sudden the kids are all watching. It's like playground fads, isn't it? Except now it's digitized instead, and it's got coming from outside school into school. It's funny. It's like all of a sudden, you turn up one day and in the playground everyone's got yo-yos. It's like, did I miss a memo?
You remember the 80s, the Coca-Cola and the Sprite yo-yos?
I remember them. Yeah.
Was it Fanta as well?
Probably.
You were lucky I had a wooden yo-yo.
I remember having a sort of a conical one. So it was sort of wide on the outside and it came into the middle, and that's where the spool was. So I think there was supposed to be more sort of trick ones where you could, not that I could actually do anything with it worth a damn, but it looked cool.
Yeah, I struggled to get them to open down, let alone walk the dog.
Just going back to the ships thing though, I think what I've noticed
The chat's gone quiet.
from you what? Sorry.
The chat's gone quiet.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well, there's only 4 people watching, and we're 3 of those 4.
With 3 of them. Talk amongst yourselves.
They've all fallen asleep there.
Yeah.
Is that I don't think the designs of these things are as varied and as unique as what they were back in like the 60s, 70s, and 80s. You've got such a variance, like say your Liberator, your Battle Stars, then your Star Wars stuff. They are quite a unique designs. Each ship is unique to its own franchise kind of thing. I also had this. I've been watching quite a few of these like fan documentaries on YouTube recently, and I was watching one about Dukes of Hazzard, and and all these like 80s movie cars, so you had like the General Lee, you had the A-Team van, you had Knight Rider, and then you had like the Porsche from. Looks like good. You don't know about Star Trek and Star Wars Galactica.
So we're putting him to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah, that buzzing we can hear, it's Guzzy snoring. It's like...
Go a bit more back on topic. I've got one armed Gundam that I picked up years ago there. I've no idea which flavour he is, but I quite like these little vinyl toys actually, because they tend to be quite sort of bendy, So you can. So he's quite posable, but he's well painted as well. I quite like them because it means I don't have to paint the buggers. I mean, I'm sure the Gundam kits and stuff are really, really beautiful if you can actually paint them worth a damn. I don't know how pre-painted they come, but yeah.
Is that actually a kit and not a figure?
No, it is a figure. I think I can't remember where I got him from. I think it was in my Sheffield days. But he's got sort of various removable bits. You see, he's got his sort of peg for his shoulder joint there. So it's a classic sort of Gundam. So I think I got somebody once sent me a Gundam fan subbed version because I'd never seen it before, and someone just sort of sent me a tape when I was in my sort of Starfleet heyday. And it was like, yeah, I would have loved this if I'd been able to watch it on telly at the time, you know. But I picked up a few sort of manga videos, you know.
I don't know if it's still there, but it was on Netflix not too long ago.
Yeah, I've caught it on Netflix since. There's some really impressive anime series on Netflix.
Movies are on there. Well,
yeah.
It's the first 3 series that are heavily chopped down into movies.
Yeah.
They're what I've seen.
I don't know anything about Gundam, to be fair.
That's reminded me, Eddie. Was it Russ? I think that you had on that had the Macross figure, and he was showing it off the Jetfire inspiring piece.
No, that was
Fighter.
Was it not Russ?
Rudy Zizu.
Was that Rudy? Right.
Yeah.
What was that? Because I want to have a look for that.
It was Roy Fokker.
Ah, yes.
Roy Fokker's VFS 1, I think it is.
Yeah, what toy was it? What model was it?
It's a recent one. Well, a fairly recentish one. It's like a masterpiece style one.
Of
Roy Fokker.
Valkyrie.
If you just put Roy Fokker, Valkyrie, VFS 1, I think it is.
Valkyrie.
Yeah, I know that.
Okay.
It's
not as obvious if you don't know it, but sorry.
Apologies. No, I know.
I'm trying to be helpful.
No, I used to play the game on the GameCube. And Robotech. Was it Battle for Earth? It wasn't Battle for Earth. What was it? Oh.
I've never managed to play a game of Robotech, I must admit. I know of them, but I think my first introduction to Robotech was Macross 2.
Right. Yeah. It was also available on the PlayStation and was it on the Xbox? I can't see it on the Xbox. It was on the PlayStation 2 and the GameCube. And I wasn't particularly good at it, but I always loved the figurine. This takes us back to what you said earlier, Excelsior, about what game would you like a figure from? I've literally just stumbled on it.
Well, that's interesting because that's gone the other way, hasn't it? Because that's toy first, then game.
That's right.
Well, toy cartoon, then game.
Yeah.
So a bit like things like Zoids as well. Because I came across that the other day as well. I did a random April's Fool thing where I made out sent off for a Zoids computer game and actually got it 40 years later, which of course I had not. But the thing is, it was a great nostalgia hit because I actually opened it and the cassette was quite pristine inside it. I just thought this is how games used to be. In fact, I've got an Acorn Soft game. I still haven't really opened the package since it arrived to look at it again. Yes, one of those. Yes, that's right.
I knew that's what he was doing.
But the funny thing is that Zoids was one of the few things, considering it was quite a big franchise, that didn't get an 80s cartoon, of course.
Oh, there you go. Important notice.
Important notice, yeah. Because all poor old Zoids got was this.
Yes, just the comic, yeah.
Just the comic. And second billing to Spider-Man. I mean, what were they thinking,
Yeah. It'd be nice to have the comics, when you don't forget that they're on eBay.
Well, some people do remind some people about comics on eBay, but some people choose to forget about their reminders.
I know, they still forget. I'll get a set eventually. I mean, I have them on digital download. I've got them all on digital download, but I'm not reading them on my phone. You know, I might see if I can pick up
no
a cheap
point.
pad or something. And
I've never gotten into comics as a digital thing.
Hmm.
I've actually got a big enough monitor now. It might make sense actually. I can kind of see myself doing it on a big enough monitor. And there are some interesting YouTube channels where they do kind of almost frame by frame sort of flick throughs.
yeah,
of
Toys R Us.
comics.
Toys R Us. I think he does the Transformer ones.
Right.
You know, he opens them and like he lets people like, you know, so they can read a page and does that. You know, I know Toys R Us does. I mean, there are other folks that do it, but he's the one recently I've seen doing that kind of thing. I'm lazy. I just post the comic covers. I did one today. The Zoids issue 12.
And how many are there in the run?
It's what?
51.
51.
Well,
Yeah, just
not
51,
actually.
yeah.
Strictly speaking, it's more than that.
Well, the Secret Wars stuff. Yeah.
Yes, but I've yet to do an actual breakdown of it. But there were 4 collected issues as well on top of the 51 separate issues, and the first collected issues release is the Secret Wars strips.
Yeah.
I think it covers all of them because it was Secret Wars 19 through to 26 included Zoid strips, and then it moved into its own magazine with Spider-Man, and then it had basically a year-long run. So it didn't do badly really for a toy tie-in. It did pretty well.
No.
But as I say, the different writers who were involved with it was really really interesting because they did so much with it, considering all they were given was a toy line to play with. But because it was British comics, you had people like Simon Thurman wrote for it at one point.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and he went on to do some other thing here and there.
One or
time
two
to time.
things.
Yeah.
The thing I noticed about that one, the cover that I put up today for issue 12, they've dropped from that issue. They dropped the third backup strip. So now it's just Spider-Man and Zoids, because up to then they had various the issue 11 was
Spectors
Fantastic
and all
Four
sorts, yeah,
and things like that.
Mm.
But what I've noticed, I'm flicking through them before I post them up and that, is that the backup strips are longer than what the actual Zoid strip is in them.
the Zoid strip is tiny. I mean, if you look at this one, you've got sort of 1 page, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you've got 6 sides of Zoid. So actually, that's quite a lot as the Zoid strip. So then you've got Spider-Man, who's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, but of course, he's pre-done because all they're doing is reprinting the US comics.
Yeah.
Whereas the Zoid is being done.
More interestingly, how many pages of adverts are there?
Well, actually, funnily enough, in the Zoid comics, there wasn't a lot of adverts in them.
No, it's quite restricted.
Yeah.
I'll tell you. I can tell you.
I do find those old adverts far more interesting than the strips.
Oh, they are. They're
In-
fascinating. I loved it because it occurred to me that this was one of the main advertising paths in that day because there was no internet.
Yeah.
No, it's directly channeled to the child as well, isn't it? Who's then going to pester their mum and dad. Oh,
Well-
I want this, I want this, I want this.
The only
in issue 12 that I did today, there was,
there's Biggles.
Biggles.
Remember the film Biggles? Time traveling
Yeah.
Biggles. And
But yeah.
then there's Zoids on the
Yeah.
back cover, and that's it. That is actually that's the only advertising that,
Yeah.
that I have seen more in other issues. But
Well, in issue 12 that I posted today, there's 2 adverts and a letters page, and that's it. That's your lot. The 2 adverts, one's for Gore, Lord Protector, and Crack, Prince of Darkness, and then the other advert is for the hardback specials, so the Transformer, Get Along Gang, and Care Bears, and that's it.
this one, you mean, sir?
Yes, that one, yeah. Well, no, it's the other one, yeah. There is that one. Those are the holiday special ones, yeah.
That's proper old school Megatron. That's
Yeah.
how Megatron started off in the comics. That completely different color scheme and everything. It's funny.
They've
New
got
Age ought to
Dinobot
do a
colour
legend
scheme.
scale in that colour.
Look at that. See, Fraggle Rock, Get Along Gang, Secret Wars 2, Transformers Collected Issue, A-Team even. Yeah. All sorts of tie-ins. All sorts of tie-ins going on.
And they also had a classic. Every now and again, they'd have a classified ads page in the Zoids comic as well. I
covered some of those in the Spider-Man Zoids video I did, because that just made me smile. You just sort of wonder, you know, are they still around in some different form? But yeah, there's gore in that one.
Yes. Yeah.
So, but what I loved about these is the sheer care that's gone into the photography for those ads is brilliant, because they really did show them off, and they make them look huge as well. That's the other clever thing, because the scaling of it makes them look huge. Because when I got Zoidzilla, I was like, he's not that big, and then I thought, well, no, actually he is that big in toy terms, definitely, because you know, but somehow you expect him to actually be like sort of, you know, yay high kind of thing, because that's how he was shot in the adverts.
I mean, I suppose to a 10-year-old kid, Zoidzilla is a big toy.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is. It is a big toy.
What?
It is a big toy, Zoidzilla.
Yeah, it's a decent sized toy. I mean,
it's no US flag.
No, but funny enough,
not many toys are.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing, but I couldn't imagine giving a toy like Zoidzilla to a 10-year-old kid nowadays. Yeah,
but they'll do
because I just think to myself that they'd destroy it. I don't think they'd have the care and attention that comes with owning a toy like that.
Possibly.
Don't agree? Do you think they'd be a bit too heavy-handed with it?
I think it depends a lot on the kid, though.
Yes, child by child basis.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, you look at a lot of toys now. They seem to be quite chunky and robust and kind of like, you know, almost play school kind of looking kind of toys. Like the new Transformers stuff, new Transformers toys. They're really quite blocky and chunky.
Well, I don't know. You see, I think that there's a very distinct range and approach that they seem to be adopting now. We're basically saying, if your child is mentally challenged, have this simple one-step transforming version of Bumblebee or whatever. And they're clearly designed for younger kids who are not going to do. But then we go right up to the other end, where they're ones that require sort of a master's degree in transformation skill to be able to actually do the damn things. Because, you know, I've had my son got a little Starscream. You know, like a modern version of Starscream from you know, the Transformers Prime series, I think it was, and that was just like, it was fiddly as all heck. And like, I've got my sort of little mini bots here, which were dead easy to do.
Yeah.
But now it's just hinges and joints everywhere, and it's like I've got no chance of keeping the right sequence in my head for this. I mean, yes, I am old, so it probably wouldn't happen anyway. But it's like, how do they expect these things to appeal to kids? Because once the instructions are lost, you've had it, unless you've got a very, very good memory. Because it's just, even the little ones, there's so many moving bits. It's crazy.
I've got to say, I had a Bumblebee returned to me in the shop about 3-4 weeks ago. He's faulty. He's got no hands. When you sold him to us, you didn't tell me he didn't have any hands. And
they folded out from somewhere.
They folded out from inside. Yes. And yes, so and that I would say that was a particularly difficult transformer.
And you were trying to sort of keep your face straight.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's like that. MP52 Starscream.
Oh, actually, I'll show you one I've got here, because that will guys.
That's like it's not that actually bad of a transformation sequence on that, but it's
This is
you'll have to read the review.
I got this one when I was in the States once. I think I showed you this one, didn't I?
Yes.
This is just like it's like a nearly solid sound wave, but he does have this degree of articulation. That's about it. And obviously,
he's showing off Transformers.
He doesn't even transform worth a damn. But I quite like him.
Is there a date or manufacturer's stamp on that?
I think we did have a look, didn't we? Hang on, let me get that. have a look.
Guzzy's saying Super 7.
Copyright 2013 Hasbro Inc. Made in China. C-2528A maybe? Hashtag
I only have one Transformers toy in my
A7853.
Yeah, go on then, Gareth. What you got?
Super
Soundwave
deformed
superior, Megatron inferior. That's cool.
I don't think the batteries are working at the moment. But no, I've probably taken them out, to be fair.
What's that? Is that like a fancy pop?
No, you've seen this. I brought it up to show you years ago.
Did you? I
Yeah,
can't remember.
super deformed Megatron. His eyes light up.
Right.
The gun lights up, but it also has a little fan in the end of it that goes round while it's lit up.
Right.
It's fantastic. I just think it's full of character. That's why I like it. It's Megatron, and Megatron's cool. It's not transform.
This is my one complete G1 Transformer to my name at the moment.
It's a bit
Little
dusty.
twin twist. Oh, look at that. Look at that. That's a beast. Me likey.
It never gets transformed.
Oh, it transforms as well, does it?
It does, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Sorry, I lied.
It's the MP36.
I have one other. It came in a loot crate years ago.
Right.
Funny.
This is my favourite one at the moment. That's my favourite.
Cool.
He's not talking now. He's supposed to talk.
Yeah. The Fans Toys Soundwave. Beautiful figure, that. But speaking of pop, I do have a pop. Just the one.
Just the one. Joseph bought that for you, didn't
Yeah. Yeah, my son bought me that one.
Oh.
I have one. I have one in my collection. It's downstairs in the cabinet. It's staying there. That's Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Yeah, but I can't.
Thrawn focus.
I'm not a big pop fan.
No,
I've never made any
Yeah,
pretense otherwise either.
I don't get them. All power to people who do, but
Yeah,
I just
exactly.
I
When
just don't
customers come in and they ask me, because the big pop collectors,
That'll
they'll say, they'll ask me what my favourite ones are, and I'm like, I don't like them.
I used to have a fair few of these back in the day. I've picked up a couple since because they've got a very loose Transformers linkage as well historically.
Yeah, they were acquired. They incorporated them into the Transformers, the Battle Beasts. They had I think they had thermal rub.
He has still got it, but it probably doesn't work.
Yeah.
So he's got a little so it was wood, fire, water typically.
Yes, I remember that with the Battle Beast.
I think I'm just trying to recall vaguely. I think does the story something about they were a planet with sentient animals and they got cybernetics.
Yes, Benjamin loves pops.
It's like Cybertronian technology or something, and they had cybernetics bonded.
Yeah,
to
at some point there was definitely a sort of comics crossover between the two, but I can't recall off the top of my head exactly how it went.
Yeah.
The other one I've got is that elephant chap. I think he's actually called Sledgehammer Elephant because he's got a sledgehammer and he's an elephant. It's super inventive names, but
I think I've got one at the shop at the moment. One Battle Beast.
One Battle Beast. Well, someone's released like a sort of crowd-funded book as a reference for them all, which apparently has done really well. People have been sort of ticking. They can use it as a guide to see which ones you're missing and so on. So, speaking of organic creatures, it's like time.
Hello.
It's like no chance.
What's that? Hey, just pop that up. That comment that Guzzy's put. Gap's back as well. Welcome back, Gap. Do you enjoy your tea and toast? Guardian got harmful cruelty because they show Rocket Raccoons on ship.
I haven't seen it yet, but I can imagine.
CGI
that
animals.
sums up these so-called activists.
The
They're
mental.
getting angry about something that hasn't happened to a fictional character that doesn't exist.
Who's CGI in the first place?
Yeah.
They're not worth it. Not worth your time.
Benjamin says he's not seen it yet, but he knows his origins. We all know his origins. It's a heartbreaking story. That's one of the things that makes him so relatable as well as a character. Because we've all been through crap, haven't we?
Really went to see it over the weekend.
I've heard good things, to be honest with you. I've heard good things. Early days, I heard bad things, but it turned out it was all the critics. And then when you actually speak to people on the street, everyone's got glowing reviews of it. And it's like,
Yeah.
You see, I think once we had the end of the sort of the main Avengers timeline, my son's just completely turned off it now.
That was a big supper.
He's not. He's just not. He's just not fussed. He's just not fussed anymore.
No.
Because he says that. Oh, it's just. He says there's too many new people. They're just trying to keep it going. He said it's not. It's just not his cup of tea anymore. And I do have some sympathy for him because it's almost grown beyond your capability to keep up with it. Almost, for me anyway. And God knows how many films behind now.
I think it needs for it to maintain its core audience. It needs to maintain its core group of characters. Obviously, with Marvel, that means Spider-Man, it means Iron Man, it means Hulk, it means Captain America, it means Thor, and they've either changed them all into characters that are no longer recognisable as to what they're introduced to us, not via character development, but just by changing them, or they've killed them. I've got no interest in this stuff moving forward.
No.
I mean, I managed to not spoil myself for what's the most recent Spider-Man one? Is it No Way Home? Is that what it was called? That one? Or basically,
No Way Home, the one with Tobey
Maguire.
Yeah. So the thing is, I actually managed to I think I managed more or less to not know what was going to be involved with that one. So I did quite like that one as a nod of the head to the other iterations. I thought that was quite cleverly handled, I have to say. So I thought kudos to them for bringing so many people back. And in fact, again, you see, it's interesting because my son quite liked the Andrew Garfield one, and I just never really paid that much attention to them. But watching them with him, I actually thought, no, actually, in fairness, it wasn't a bad version. It was just a different version, because we all have our favourites, or at least, if not favourites, then the ones that we grew up with, which therefore have a particular appeal to us because of where they're lodged in our craniums. Huh?
That's what I remember watching as a kid. Nicholas Hammond as Spider-Man.
Was that one where he had like sort of proper ropes coming out of his wrist? Yeah. I remember. I do. I had a costume. I had a Spider-Man costume when I was knee high to Grasshopper, which must have been based off his sort of success in the films. Yeah.
My first Spider-Man toy was a Remco energized Spider-Man. I'd love to get one of them back.
What Ed?
I'm not too fussed about Ed. Oh, cheers, Benjamin.
Do you not like Mr. Vaults of Viacom? A vault keeper.
I think maybe was he trying to type something else? I'm not too fussed about Ed. Who knows? He retracted the message.
It might be me. It might be Excelsior's domain. It might be ED.
Ah, yeah, it could be. Yeah.
It could be. Yeah.
Could be me.
I didn't mean to send that. Well, you've sent it. There's no you can't. There's no take backsies now.
No backsies.
Anyway, Benjamin, I'm going to go back to one of your earlier things. I love Pops. If you love them so much, why do you keep selling them back to me?
I
know. You need the space to make room for more Pops that you like. I know.
Pops. Finger slipped on the send button. So what was he typing then that he did?
That is a thing with live chat on your phone. I find myself many times I will type a comment and I'm about to move on to the next word, or I'm halfway through the sentence that I'm writing, and I go to press space and I click send instead. Because they've shrunk to make it fit in with the live chat screen. They shrink the space button down to put the send button there. So I've done that many times, and I have to delete my comments and then retype it.
Big fingers, but nah, it's right. Who knows?
Look at them thumbs. Frigging sausages.
No, I'm a single finger typer.
Yeah.
Really?
I don't. My son's like, and I'm like,
Must be an
the
age
apostrophe
thing.
there, backspace.
Must be an age thing.
What's it goes it? My bane is Twitch when I try to go up to a previous line and the entire message gets deleted. Twitch. What's that? What is Twitch?
That's another streaming
it's a game
platform.
streaming platform. Yes.
Right.
We are actually live on Twitch at the moment.
Are we?
We are, yes.
Good lord.
We're live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
That's the magic of StreamYard's kids.
So where's all the comments from Twitch then and people asking questions?
Obviously, no one's just...
They'll be on Twitch.
Yeah.
Well, no, they
They're
should.
on YouTube.
They should.
I know, they should show up in the same place.
I'm guessing you two are watching this on YouTube.
Yeah.
I've given up doing that. I'm just
it
watching it
on
on here
YouTube,
now, so...
Right.
Because I turned my light on, I put it in front of my other screen, so it's a bit pointless having it on.
Yeah, I don't have a YouTube window open. I literally just watch this through on.
I'm probably too old for Twitch anyway.
Yes, you are.
I'm too old for Twitch.
I was doing like StarCraft live stream, 0 viewers. It's like, all right then. MCU, no.
Right.
Too many yeah.
He's
you can have too much of a good thing.
Yeah.
Or a mediocre thing, or a
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say it's a problem with it's too much. It's a problem with the quality.
Yeah.
The quality of the product isn't there. If the quality was there, then as much product as you want to do, that's fine. But you churn out the shite.
It's hard to maintain that. I'm not defending them in any way because a lot of the rubbish they've put out is indefensible. But I will say that I think that when they've got so many things, my hands are moving down here and you can't see it. When they've got so many things going off at the same time, and it all takes place in the same continuity, it's got to be difficult to keep them all on the same page when you've got different makers involved, different directors and everything. Because they can make one thing and it can completely contradict what's happening over here.
Well, there's got to be somebody centrally who's very, very good at their job.
Which is what Kevin Feige's supposed to be doing, isn't it?
Yeah.
But
the thing with MCU,
line can screw stuff up. But I think the strength that Marvel's had recently is in the stuff that they are not trying to connect together. I loved Moon Knight, which, although apparently takes place in the Marvel universe, it doesn't reference anything else that's happened so far. And then there's also Werewolf by Night, which I thought was fantastic. And it's 90 minutes long, something like that. We used to call that a feature film.
Well, but also interestingly, I mean, I was thinking about this the other day because, you take something like Babylon 5, 22 episodes, about 45 minutes long for one season, right? Now, all we get is 8 or possibly 10. But then when you look at something like Stranger Things, of course, you end up with like an hour and a half long single episode, which is crazy. But it is really interesting how that dynamic has shifted to much more compacted series. So like you say, they've got to get the quality up there because actually the airtime is not as great as it used to be.
But I think the things with like Stranger Things, I think the reason why is because they're running out of time and they're just trying to cram everything in.
Yeah, the kids are getting older.
Yeah, so it's a case of we're limited to 8 episodes or 9 episodes. but the story that we want to tell probably needs about 12 or 13 episodes. So, right, we're just going to cram stuff in. And, you know, sometimes it can be a compromise that works. Other times it isn't, you know, because it does. Sometimes it can just feel rushed.
Yeah.
You know, because, like, you know, it's like, right, we're running out of time. Right, this, there we go. It's done. Off you go, kind of thing. And it doesn't always work. You see, really,
I've never even watched it, but I've got a call Game of Thrones here.
No, I'm one of the few who've not watched it either.
I saw the first season.
The final season of Game of Thrones is absolutely awful.
So I've heard.
It's awful. It's like, it's as though, well, I know why, and it's because at the point they got to a certain point.
I must have been typing this as I was saying it.
Yeah, they got to a certain point in the series. They run out of material from the books, so the people who created the series had to start writing themselves, and it just showed you that they couldn't write for toffee.
No.
You know, because they then started changing and altering the characterization of previously established characters, and it's like, well, what are you doing here? You know, and it's. But if you acknowledge that it's awful and watch it, you can still get a bit of enjoyment out of it. Yeah. You've just got to realise that it isn't, you know, it isn't the same quality as what the earlier seasons are.
Yeah. The irony there, Guzzy, is that the movies that they rushed the series to an end in order to move on and make never happened.
No. Yeah, yeah. Those movies. Where are those movies? Maybe they'll come out at the same time as Rian Johnson's Star Wars trilogy. Possibly. Yeah, apparently they were going to be making a Star Wars series of films. Yeah.
They're always making a Star Wars series of films. It's just when.
Well, these guys were supposed to be making... it was the first time that it was listed as a series of films. It wasn't a trilogy. It wasn't a new standalone. It was a series of films. And everyone expected it to be Knights of the Old Republic. Yes.
A bit further back, yeah.
Yeah, apparently they had creative differences with Kathleen Kennedy.
No.
Doesn't everyone have creative differences with Kathleen Kennedy, from what I've heard? Not that I'm that massively into it, but I do see her mentioned quite a few times. I mean, I love the game. I love the game cutscenes that you get on YouTube of sort of some of the Knights of the Old Republic era stuff. They're fantastic.
Yes, they are. They're movie quality on their own. They are. That why they've never made an animated movie like that is beyond me. And I think the reason
Clone Wars, but you know.
Yeah, but even then, that's by comparison, that's a child's cartoon compared to those cutscenes that you're referring to. And I think that's probably why they've never done it. Because they know that it would show up Rebels,
that's the thing.
Wars, and whatever comes next.
That's the you've got people working on these franchises now that just don't have a clue in how to write or make movies.
Night, Guzzy.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, cheers, Guzzy. Send us that message through, kid. We'll sort something out. But they just haven't got a fucking clue.
Benjamin knows exactly which scenes we're talking about.
The only thing about those cutscenes of that Old Republic thing that I will say is I've seen them and they are good, but it's to say they're set so many thousands of years prior to the original trilogy. Things still look quite very recognisable to how they do in the original trilogy.
But that's okay because logically they're the precursors of everything that comes later.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah, but
I don't mind that.
Not thousands.
I think there's only so far you can get with technology where you just can't go any further.
Yeah, but a stormtrooper looking like a stormtrooper 20,000 years apart. It's like
the Republic commandos look nothing like stormtroopers.
Totally different helmets and everything. Yeah.
And they had paint markings, which at that time stormtroopers didn't have. Clone troopers may have done.
Yeah. It's like it's like with the was it Darth? Is it Darth Bane or whatever it is?
Darth Bane, Darth Malak, Darth
Yeah,
Revan.
like they always they always make them look like Vader, but just like
that's Malak.
And then like with a breather here instead of a full mask, it's like
no, that's Darth Malak. Is that?
Yeah, it's like we can see what you're doing there.
Booming business in those days,
And strangely enough, the Darth Bane design is completely different.
Hmm.
I don't know if I can bring that up. He has a very interesting story as well, does Darth Bane.
What, Darth Bane? Nobody noticed him until he started wearing the mask?
Darth Bane, well, he gets a mask at a later date. A much later date. I don't know if I can do it with three of us on the stream. Can I do it with three of us on the stream? That's a test anyway. Let's find out. Oh, I can. There we are.
That's
right.
That's Darth Bane.
Yeah, Darth Bane.
Yeah. This is how he appeared in the Clone Wars episode. I was never fond of it. I was never fond of that at all.
Don't remember him at all.
Yeah, that's a completely different look to what we've seen in other Sith Lords, I would say. But yeah, he ends up. That's the mask that he gets. It's part of the armor that grows over him. It's a living armor.
Of course it is.
Of course it is. Yes. that's why they look like shells. It's an infection that he's got.
He looks like the God Messiah from Dune.
Yeah, it's an infection that he's got that's eating away at him, but it's also giving him strength at the same time.
Trilobite, man.
Symbiotic.
Kind of.
Trilobite, man.
And there's a cosplay. That's quite cool.
That's impressive. Fair dues.
What are you doing this
cosplayers
weekend?
are impressive.
What are you doing this weekend? I'm going to a Comic Con in fancy dress. I don't get it. That's something else I don't get. Cosplay. I don't get it. It's again, it's up to them. If it makes them
happy. Didn't you do Batman once?
For a fancy dress party.
It's an extension of that. It's cosplay.
Is it?
Yeah. It's an extension of that. It's where it's come from originally.
I'll tell you an interesting thing. Once I was doing some collections for charity, and as it has at that point in time, I happened to have a Darth Vader mask. So I think I must have had a cloak as well for whatever reason. So I sort of did that, dug out an ancient red lightsaber that I still had, and off we went down to sort of local shops to do collections. The fascinating thing was, this little girl came up to me and she was completely not afraid of me at all, because clearly it had been so long, and she was at a certain generation. It had been so long since there'd been a Star Wars film. She didn't know I was supposed to be a baddie. So it was quite funny that, because out of context, she had no idea I was supposed to be an evil bloke. So it was just fascinating, because it's like she had no qualms about coming up and saying hello and popping money in the bucket. It's funny.
It's like them. Is it 501st Legion? Is it?
Oh,
yeah,
way too far.
Yeah, that's like it's just. I mean,
I've seen them in the Peace Corps. That's an impressive bunch.
The thing is, though, the talk about. The talk about, it has to be screen accurate, and there's certain criteria that it has to meet and that lot. But when you look at some of the 501st parades, it's like, don't ever recall seeing a 25-stone stormtrooper. And I'm sure.
Are you a little wide to be a stormtrooper?
Yes, yeah. It's all like, okay, you're only 3'2". It's like, it's. I mean, God love them if it makes them happy. Fair enough, But I think some cosplay people scare me, because it's like you actually think you're that person. You're not actually a person just in fancy dress. You actually think you're that person. It's like that's a bit.
They're getting into character, aren't they? Because they are existing in their own little sort of bubble of reality when they're doing it. But I guess that's the thing, isn't it? It's escapism, isn't it? So. Well, you know, but the thing is, you know, it gets them out in the fresh air with people. So, you know, each to their own. You know, it is what it is, isn't it? That's fair enough, really. And I think they do. I think they do raise quite a lot of dosh for charity as well. I believe.
Yeah.
So, you know, again, you can't knock it, can you? On that basis, they're not in
It's
it
all
purely
for charity, mate.
For charity.
Yeah.
For charity.
Smashing it nicely.
Nice.
You know, going back to what you mentioned about the Darth Vader costume and the little girl, I have very, very fond memories. I'm so evil. So evil. I have very fond memories of. I had a latex Darth Maul mask. Yeah, well, there's. I get what you're saying about Darth Vader. She had no concept of whether he was a good guy or a bad guy.
Yeah.
You've got a horned, demon-looking, red-skinned guy with bright yellow eyes chasing you down a street with a glowing stick.
When you say it like that, when there's chasing involved, that's a bit more disturbing.
There was a group of kids playing out in the middle of the road at home, my mum's house, and where we lived, there's a ginnel at the side of the house, or 2 doors down, and you can get to it from our backyard. So put the mask on, got the double-ended lightsaber out, went round the back, came running out of this ginnel, roaring at the top of my lungs. And all these kids just took one look at me. I'm fairly sure that some of them did something in their pants.
Yeah.
And they ran screaming down the hill. And there was this one little one, and he was on a little kid's plastic sit and ride tractor type toy. And he's just seen all the other kids running away, and he's like, what? So I just went and, as they were running away, I just went and stood at the side of him and looked down at him. And then he turned around and looked up at me. Yeah, I'm fairly sure that he packed his pants. Bless him.
Bless him.
And then he screamed at. Yeah, he ran as well. He tried throwing the tractor at me and ran. So kudos to him to that. But yeah, I'm so evil. If I don't go to hell for anything else, I'm going for that.
It's hell that. Oh dear.
I would have probably been about 17, 18 at the time.
Wow.
So I could run faster then.
Right, well, chaps, I'm going to bow out because it's
Yes.
11 and I'm going to go grab some Zeds.
That's a good idea, is that? I think
That
it's
is a plan.
it's
Definitely.
getting on a bit, isn't it?
Well,
So,
thank you for the guest spot.
Yeah, no problem. We'll have to do it again.
Yeah.
We will.
Yeah,
Welcome to the Cosmic Council.
Indeed. Can't do it next week.
Keeping it a fortnightly thing, sir?
I think so. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Fortnight.
Yeah.
Fortnightly might work. Yeah.
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 Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Fantastic.
Fortnight. I think at this stage weekly might be a little too often.
I would be here next week anyway, so.
Yeah, and I think if we go monthly, then it's going to be one of those things everyone's going to forget about it.
Right. Well, if we do
And
it fortnightly,
these
then
more people watching really need to
make some
remember.
notes for some talking points.
Yes.
Yeah, that's your
All
whole
three. Well, if you're willing to
It's
take part again, Excelsior, you make some
Spaceship.
notes as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gap says
Two sides of A4, double spacing.
Bloody hell, it's homework now.
So
I have invited Mark from Blue Harvest Toys to both of these streams, but he's been unavailable on both occasions. With any luck, he might be available next time.
He's a busy lad, is Mark.
He is very busy.
yeah,
But yeah, it'd be nice to be able to fill this screen out.
Is it 4 you can have on this, or is it 6?
I think I can have 10.
10?
It keeps telling me I can have 10. Unless it wants me to upgrade. It might want me to upgrade.
Right.
Possibly, I guess, yeah.
Right.
I've definitely seen it running with 4 very happily.
Shh.
Good word. but no, right, okay, yeah. Well, I'll think of some stuff to chinwag about.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us, both of you.
Yeah, no, anytime.
Look forward to doing it again, and thanks to everyone who's been watching.
Oh, before I go, I'll plug me Collector's Archive this Friday.
Of course, Collector's Archive's back this week, isn't it?
8:30, yes. Season 2.
8:30 on Friday.
Episode 1.
Second.
Season the second, yes. I think actually you're up on season 2. I think.
Yeah.
Are you? Just hang on a minute before we
I
go.
think I
I'll
might
tell
be.
you when.
Wait for it.
When
Drum
you
roll, please.
Oh, you'll be drumming a while. So I've got many folders
He's
and
got to check all his
sub-folders to
spreadsheets.
go
Talk
through.
amongst yourselves and maybe some time.
Yeah, I'm consulting my spreadsheet, my Excel
I thought
spreadsheet.
so. God, I know
Right,
you
here we
thought
go.
Or his Excelsior spreadsheet.
I will not say your first name, but Excelsior's domain, yes, you are in for the 22nd of June.
Marvellous. My answer. Oh, yeah, I
So,
might be here for that.
This
Ooh,
Friday is part 2 of the chat that I had with Sven Harvey from Geekology. 1st of June is Lord Nerdington.
Nerdington.
Awesome.
And then the 8th of June is Palatoy Fantastic.
I've
Oh.
not heard of them.
Yeah, he's
Not like I've heard of any of the others.
Palatoy Action Force stuff.
Has
Really
he never
good
been seen
stuff.
in the same room as Mark, then?
Pardon?
Has he never been seen in the same room as Mark, by any chance?
Well, I don't know. Mark's on here somewhere.
Is he?
Is it? Where is he? No, he is.
Have you done a video with Mark?
Mark? Which Mark?
Brother Harvest Toys.
Oh, no, sorry. I thought you
Oh.
meant another Mark. No, I've got another Mark on here.
Okay.
No, I don't think he would he?
Ask him.
He probably
If
would.
he gets on here, I'll ask him.
You'll
Then I've
need
got-
about 8. You'll need about 8 hours of tape, but apart from that,
Yeah. Then,
Bless him.
yeah, we've got,
Well,
and then we've got
The Sven one was 3 hours.
that
Yeah.
ended up being 3 hours. The Sven one. Then we've got I've got G1 Jetfire's fan club, Daztron's Diorama Llama.
Okay.
Then I've got someone that I can't tell you who is it at the moment because that's a special one.
Tippy top
I mean, they're
secret.
all special, but that's one that I never expected to get, but I got. Then I've got Space Hamsters, Soundwave SG1, Sam's Formers, Magnum 4356, Greybeard Plastic Works, A Kraken Awakes, and then IG Terminals.
Okay.
Wow.
That takes us to
2027.
that takes you to season 4, episode 1,
Wow.
and that's the 28th of September.
Gosh.
So
It's good.
there's a
It's
fair
great if
few.
you've got that many in the can, though. So I mean, that's.
It's what, sorry?
impressive. It's good you've got that many in the can, though. Kind of, if they're ready to go, I mean, that's impressive.
Yeah, they're all recorded.
Wow.
They're not all edited, but they're all recorded.
Ah.
I believe you're editing one a week, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm editing one a week. I mean, I before I came on the live stream today, I just finished editing the part 2 with Sven.
Okay.
So then, Lord Nerdington's, which goes out on the 1st of June, I'll probably edit that. I might edit that this weekend, actually, I think. If I got... Oh, no, I can't. F1's on, Formula 1's on this weekend. So, no, it'll have to be through the week next week at some point. Oh, yes. I do have some normality about me. I do like some normal stuff. So, but yeah. Collector's Archive this Friday, 8:30, YouTube.
Okay, I've settled on a title for the next episode.
Oh,
Right.
And we're flipping from Star Wars to Star Trek for the third one.
The search for
Mock. Because we
Mock.
always have a laugh.
As in my
Before.
own creation.
No, mock as in mocking.
Okay. CK. Okay.
Yes.
The search for mock.
The search for mock.
The search for mock, as in mocking.
Yes. I won't say what I suggested earlier off screen to Eddie.
My Sunday name keeps slipping out here.
Sorry. Ed. Yes.
I only get that when I'm in trouble.
Sometimes you are.
I'm always in trouble. In fact, I think I'm being quite well behaved for these live streams, you know.
Let's keep it that way, please.
Hmm.
That's why I'm not entitling episode 3 what I was going to entitle it.
I'm enjoying my off screen. I'm enjoying my status of grumpy old man. I'm reveling in that.
Okay, well,
Right.
hope you can all join us in 2 weeks then.
Yep. All the best. We'll catch you soon. Do you turn it off or do I turn it off?
I turn it off. I do.
You turn it off, then.
He's out.
Mine, my toy.
Right, go on then. Turn it off.
Excelsior, you've not joined
He
us before.
has the power.
Yeah, Excelsior, you've not joined us before, so would you like to tell everyone where they can find you, other than Excelsior's domain?
Yes, other
Nothing
than
on
the
stream
extremely
here.
long Excelsior's domain, you
Okay.
can also find me at S for Sugar, F for Freddy, X for X-Ray, B for Bravo.co.uk, the home, once upon a time, of all things Starfleet and other animated 80s goodness, like Ulysses, Visionaries, Thundercats, all that good stuff. But it's not maintained anymore, but it is still there if you want to go and have a prowl around those regions of the net.
And can they find you anywhere else on social media?
I am on the Twitters. So I'm Excelsior UK on the Twitters. I think that's probably mentioned in my YouTube channel somewhere as well. But I'm around and about the place, so you will find me.
And I'm Barry Hercules, Doc.
Yes.
I
Well,
love that line.
thank you both very
And
much
Barry
for joining me.
Hercules.
Right, turn us off, Gareth.
All
Turn us
right.
off. I'm off to bed.
Take care, guys. See you in a couple of weeks.
Tomatoes.
All the best. See you later.